Of thousands of Syrian refugees is setting the stage for a legal battle in this country between a group of governors and the White House.
The U.S. has a plan in place to offer residency to 10,000 people, 10,000 refugees, but it's likely going to run headfirst into legislation already in the works that would try to block that. Local 12's Rich Jaffe joins us now with a look at the growing concern. Rich.
Cami, at least 27 mostly Republican governors have already said they will not allow Syrian refugees to resettle in their states. That includes Indiana's Governor Pence, Ohio's Kasich, and incoming Kentucky Governor Bevin. The problem with that stand is that the resettlement project is a federal program. In order to fight it, those governors and others will have to take the issue to court, and apparently they are preparing to do just that. Members of Cincinnati's Muslim community say all the anti-Syrian rhetoric is creating a dangerous, bigoted atmosphere for the majority of law-abiding, appreciative Muslims already in our country.
We find it truly disappointing and disturbing that our elected leaders, who are elected to represent their entire communities, would find it politically expedient to score points on the backs of people who are fleeing from death and destruction.
With a national plan to absorb 10,000 Syrians into the United States, the group assembled today says the U.S. system of vetting immigrants is much more thorough than what's been going on in Europe.
Any inbound refugees have to be registered in the camp, and the process have built-in screening and built-in robustness to screen and scrutinize and background check everybody who's coming to this country, and it takes between 12 to 18 months minimum.
But in the battle against the Islamic State, or ISIS, Ohio's governor says we must do more.
We must invoke Article 5, the Mutual Defense Clause of the North American Treaty, and bring NATO together to assist our ally France in its defense. I agree with President Hollande that Friday's attacks were an act of war by ISIS on France, and therefore they were an attack on America and every other NATO member state.
Because of the possibility that ISIS could smuggle agents into our country, Kasich has joined the call by others to put a hold on Syrian refugees in the U.S.
Until we get a handle on where we are, we need to stop. And once we have a rational program and we can determine who it is that's coming, then it's another story. But for at this point in time, in light of what we're seeing in the world, it's reasonable to stop.
The Muslim community overseas is the one that has suffered the most at the hands of ISIS. They're killing Muslims more than anybody else.
Now, when Governor Kasich mentioned NATO Article 5, he was referring to an agreement in which any attack on a member nation can be seen as an act of war by all the other countries involved. It allows for what's called collective self-defense by the entire NATO group. A much bigger hammer in response to the attack on one. Cami?
All right, Rich Jaffe, thank you. It is possible that anti-Syrian refugee legislation could be drafted as soon as the end of this week.